The observation deck of Research Station Cora 7 hummed with its usual monotony until the proximity alarms shattered the silence. Ellen Marek's coffee mug froze halfway to her lips as the red lights bathed the room in crimson waves. Unidentified vessel approaching, the AI announced, its voice maddeningly calm. Trajectory, erratic. Speed, suboptimal. Life signs, critical. Ellen was already moving, her xenobiology training kicking in before conscious thought caught up. Through the reinforced viewport, she watched a damaged scout ship limp toward the station, trailing debris and ionized gas. The hull bore markings she recognized immediately craved their design. All sharp angles and predatory aesthetics that matched the species perfectly. The Krevther, apex predators of the Andromeda Reach. 8 feet of scaled muscle, razor-sharp claws, and a reputation for being the galaxy's most formidable hunters. They didn't ask for help. They didn't need help. They took what they wanted, and the galaxy learned to step aside. Yet here one was broadcasting a distress signal. Ellen overrode the automated defense protocols, her fingers dancing across the haptic interface. Station AI, grant emergency docking clearance. Bay 3, activate medical protocols. Warning. Krevther physiology contains toxic compounds deadly to human. I'm aware. Do it. The ship crashed more than docked, scraping against the bay's magnetic clamps with a sound that made Ellen's teeth ache. She was already in the airlock, pulling on a hazard suit even as the bay pressurized. Through the transparent aluminum, she could see movement in the ship's cockpit, desperate, pained movement. The hatch opened, and Kruan spilled out. Even injured, even dying, the Krevther was magnificent. Crimson scales dulled by blood loss, one arm hanging useless, chest heaving with labored breaths that misted in the station's cool air. Yellow eyes, predator's eyes, fixed on Ellen with an intensity that should have triggered every prey instinct. Humans still carried in their genetic memory. But Ellen had spent 5 years studying xenobiology, and she saw past the claws and fangs. She saw pain. She saw desperation. She saw fear. Easy, Ellen said, keeping her voice steady as she approached. I'm Dr. Marek. You're safe here. Kruyan's vocal cords produced a sound like grinding metal. Not safe. Never safe. The translator embedded in the Krevther's throat struggled with the words. Hunters. Coming, 3 cycles behind. They want. The predator collapsed, and Ellen rushed forward, catching the massive body despite the size difference. Her exosuit's servos whined in protest, but held. Up close, she could see the extent of the injuries, plasma burns, radiation poisoning, and something worse. Something deliberate. Torture wounds. Medical bay now, Ellen commanded, dragging Kruan toward the emergency sled. Aye, prep xenobiology suite 7. Full trauma protocol. It took 6 hours. 6 hours of working in a hazard suit, of synthesizing medications for alien biochemistry, of performing surgery while consulting databases in real time. The Krevther's physiology was a maze of redundant organs and toxic blood, but Ellen had always been exceptional at puzzles. Kruin's eyes opened as dawn cycle lighting began filtering through the medical bay's windows. You should not have saved me, the Krevther rasped. Humans are prey species. We are hunters. You should fear me. Ellen set down her datapad, exhaustion making her movements slow. Fear you? You crashed here half dead, broadcasting distress in 17 languages. You weren't hunting. You were running. Kruyan's scales rippled embarrassment Ellen had learned to recognize. My offspring? The hunters took? My child, 3 cycles old. I tried to retrieve them, but double quotes, those predatory eyes closed. I failed. The galaxy's apex predator, and I failed to protect my own young. Understanding crashed through Ellen like cold water. The torture, the chase. Someone had taken a Krevther child as leverage, as a trophy, as proof they could dominate even the galaxy's most feared species. Where? Ellen asked simply. You cannot. Where, Kruan? The Krevther's eyes opened, searching Ellen's face. Why would you help? Your species has no stake in this. No advantage. You should report me. Collect the bounty. Humans excel at profit, I'm told. Ellen thought of Earth, of the stories her grandmother told of wolves and humans, of ancient partnerships forged in mutual respect. She thought of the pictures she'd seen of apex predators in her homeworld's wilderness, trusting humans enough to bring injured cubs to ranger stations. Even apex predators trust humans to protect their young. Because, Ellen said quietly, that's what we do. We protect those who can't protect themselves. We've been doing it since before we reached the stars. It's not about profit. It's about what's right. She pulled up a star chart. Now tell me where your child is. Cruen stared at this small, fragile creature in its hazard suit. This human who had no claws, no natural armor, no venom or enhanced senses. This prey species that had somehow become the galaxy's most stubborn defenders of the helpless. And slowly, carefully, Cruen began to speak. 2 cycles later, a heavily armed ship departed Cora 7. Inside, a human xenobiologist and a recovering Krevthur warrior made an unlikely pair. The galaxy would soon learn what humanity's enemies had discovered time and again, that humans were dangerous not despite their compassion, but because of it. Because humans didn't just protect their own. They protected everyone's young. And heaven help anyone who stood in their way.